The number one agenda we should all have as people of color, black people categorized as black, the number one agenda is to eradicate racism, white supremacy, and have justice for black people. That's the number one agenda we should have. We've never had that as a national agenda. Never. We've never had that as a national agenda. You know why? Because the minute we say, hey, let's all work together as a community to eradicate racism, to bring about justice for the black community. Let's do that. You know what's going to happen? Somebody's going to stand up and say, what about women's rights? What about gay rights? What about other minorities? My wife is Mexican. What about women, white women? My wife is white. Then we get into that. You dig what I'm saying? Black folks start saying this. Black folks start saying this. You dig? And we try to worry about everybody else without taking care of ourselves first. And life don't work like that, dude. If you're on an airplane and the plane is about to crash and you have a child, every airline tells you the same thing. When the mask come down, you put the mask on first. Don't put the mask on the kid. You put it on first. Because if you die, the kid is going to die. So you need to survive first so that you can save other people. But save yourself first. The problem is we try to, as black folks, try to save everybody else while we're steadily dying. And it just doesn't work like that. We don't know how to self-preservate like other people. So this is why we get ourselves caught up in a trick bag, and that's because of fear. And self-hatred, because again, black folks run away from who they are. Because the dominant society tells you that you are less than. So we got to get on this, we got to get off the bullshit and find an agenda. The problem is, we want to be accepted by other people so bad that we will neglect our own self-esteem. And we got to be very honest about that. And again, on this week's show, I'm going to go real deep. Because I'm going to get on the brothers, man. And I blame a lot of brothers and sisters too, but brothers really, because a lot of brothers, black males, have taken too much of a submissive role, man. Too many brothers, they've taken too much of a submissive role, and that's going to have to stop. Yeah, the sacrificial lamb mentality, we got to get off that shit because we ain't fooling nobody. We're scared, and we think if we buddy up and hug up and try to protect everybody else, that one day they're going to find it in their hearts to do the same for us. And I hate to break it to you, but that shit ain't going to happen. That shit ain't going to happen. You dig? And the thing is, man, it's not just about knowledge. Knowledge is one thing, but you got to get your spirit right, man. You got to get your spirit right. It's not about knowledge. It's about getting your spirit right. Your energy right. Because knowledge is just one part of the equation, but if your spirit is fucked up, the knowledge is useless.